This video brought to you by We Play Games.
Sora?
Hey Neku,
Where are we?
we're in We Play Games, the collection of all things nerdy from anime, gaming consoles, and more. Or at least, I think we are.
Sora, are we in an ad sponsorship?
You bet we are.
And the only way to get out of it is to do the sponsorship, right?
Right.
Local in Las Vegas, but also ships across to your home around the United States. Check out our links down below to learn more. Use coupon code STUDLEYB15 for 15% off your purchases. Coupon is limited, so grab it before it's gone. See you there at We Play Games.
You did it, Neku. I guess we can go now.
Right.
Hello, YouTube! We just saw Square Enix. We're here to give our thoughts on it. If you want to see the rest of our E3 stuff, be sure to check out the channel, give a like and a comment here, and check out our other videos. We also did, before this, we did a Square Enix E3 predictions video, so make sure you check that out and see how right or wrong we were. But we'll probably touch a bit on what those predictions were, and the ones that paid off and the ones that didn't. So you know what? Let's go straight into it. It's me, Chris, here. I'm here with Liam, Riven, and Peter.
Sup, dudes?
So, Square Enix.
Overall, the whole thing was pretty quick. You know, there weren't any interviews or musicals or performances in between. It was just trailer after trailer, which was good. I was expecting it to go on for a little bit longer. It felt kind of short.
It ended very... It's like being a woman and your man just finishes too quickly. I felt like he was building me up and I was getting there. He started off slow. You know, actually, no, he started off pretty well and then he got a bit tired in the middle and then he ended well. He was ending and he was going so well and then he just fucking finished. And I was like, lad, you still have to get me finished.
Who's editing this?
I think I am.
Chris is. That's what I'm afraid of. He might put like a random porno video.
I don't know. He might pull Delphifi out the wardrobe.
So we did predict that Eidos Montreal was gonna talk about some Marvel related thing. I was expecting Marvel's Avengers, but they unveiled the new Guardians of the Galaxy game.
So they did.
They did, but they unveiled the new Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Yeah, I believe we'd seen this somewhere before. I do remember them announcing this previously. I don't think this was like, yeah.
I thought it came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it.
I think we talked about it in a Studley News, but they literally only said, yeah, we're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy game. Or that might have been a leak or something like that. But I do remember being like, oh, Square's doing a Guardians game.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
They showed a bit too much of it, I thought, but I thought it looked good. The banter between the characters was fine. The gameplay looked fun.
They seem to have modeled like the combat using Marvel's Avengers. Like the combat looked similar to it.
Looked very similar. And when we streamed it, people were kind of complaining because you only play as Peter Quill, and people were kind of complaining of you don't get to play as the other Guardians. But I personally think that's actually good because at least then they're gonna focus on all of the gameplay with Quill, and they can at least kind of make the game function better than Marvel's Avengers, rather than trying to focus on making all these different playable characters with different play styles. Just focus on one and get the game good. It was very Ratchet and Clanky as well, actually.
I think you hit a keynote when you mentioned that title because it really does have that feel, especially when you see some of the fighting animations that you see from like the little guy that's the tinkerer that pulls out a weapon that's about 8 times as big. It looks like something out of the Mad. It's brilliant.
I just wanted to point out that the problem with Marvel's Avengers wasn't exactly the characters. It was just lack of endgame content. Like the characters themselves are all pretty well made and they have their own mechanics. So I don't see why they weren't allowed to do the same with the other Guardians. You know, like give them
the issue that a lot of people had with Avengers, that it was the gameplay just kind of felt the same after the while. It was repetitively pretty much the same mission over and over. And
Yeah, that's the thing. It was just content, but the characters themselves were pretty, you know.
I feel like the reason why that would happen is because you're going to focus on making every character play good with their own unique play style rather than focusing on making fun levels. Whereas this, it feels like we'll just do Peter Quill and then we'll make fun levels.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I thought it looked good. What did you guys think of the interactions and the voiceover?
Yeah, I very much enjoyed watching it and listening to the banter, and I wouldn't have been interested in this game at all, but just the characters talking was what made me think, oh, I might actually try this. But I thought the combat looked very kind of, you're going to be doing this over and over.
Yeah, same kind of combos.
It looked very much like, I can imagine myself playing it, right, and you walk into an arena and I'm just like, oh, like more fights. Like I'll just want to skip over that stuff.
More of a predictable linear storyline where you know, oh yeah, this is a big area, we know what's coming.
But that's why I think it would have been a good idea if they'll let you play with the other Guardians. Like it would have maybe mixed up the combat a little bit more. You know, give you something different to play with rather than just playing as Quill the entire time, which might get boring.
I think the worrisome thing though then is, do you want more varied combat or do you want better levels? So with a game like this, especially when it's in space, I think the level design is way more important than the combat, because it's going to have so many hopefully unique environments and stuff and character designs that you're going to be like, whoa.
My god, could you imagine how lame it would be if it's like, okay, you do this planet, then you go to another planet and it's basically the same,
exact same.
It's the same level, just a different color.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if it's developed by Eidos Montreal, it's probably gonna play just like Marvel's Avengers. You know, just repetitive. You know, it's open world, but it's pretty much empty like 99% of the time.
God, Rivet. I was excited for this game and you're selling me less and less on it.
I mean, we'll see.
Eidos Montreal is the Deus Ex developer, right?
Yeah, I was expecting Deus Ex. That's what I was predicting in the video.
Because like Deus Ex is so known for being so malleable, and like you can like every time you play it, it'll be like different because they'll come up with new strategies, and anything you could realistically think up is a viable strategy. And then they make this, and it's like, oh, you just mash like X or whatever the button is.
Yeah, I don't know. What they showed looked good. I'm only going to judge by what they showed. I'd need to get my hands on it to judge more, I think. But what they showed, I thought was fine.
And it went on for a long time.
It did go on for too long.
I wouldn't say they showed too much of the game. It was far past the point where it's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, it was like they show a trailer. And they're like, okay, we're going to show like a section of the game. And then they show that, and they show the cutscene from the end of that, and it fades out, and it's like shows the title again, and I was like, that's a good point to end it. And then they show another part of the game. So that was the only kind of thing where I was like, okay, whatever. Should we move on to the next title, I think?
I think the next one was Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters. So this one was kind of interesting. They're releasing the first 6 Final Fantasies. But it's gonna be the pixel versions of them, not the ugly Steam remasters that gave them like the really ugly character sprites and the weird basic looking interface.
Yeah, I mean that's what's put me off of like buying 1 to 6 on Steam and stuff, is because they all look bloody hideous. And the same with like I could buy them on my phone, but I'd probably rather get them on Steam. But that's what's really put me off it. But at the same time, as much as I'm all for this, I also have to be annoyed that it's like, imagine if you're someone and you're like, I just want to play one of the first 6 Final Fantasies. I want to support the developers, so I'm not going to pirate it. I could 100% pirate Final Fantasy 1 on PSP, and it would look great, it would play great. Same with Final Fantasy 4, same with Final Fantasy 2. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to support them officially. And you buy all the crappy ones on Steam, and then they go, actually, you know the version you wanted with the pixels? Yeah, go buy it again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Buy them again. Buy them a second time. Same platform, exact same game. It's the art style that people like now.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be the same price, right? It's going to be like around the $14-15 mark, which is...
They made it seem like it was going to be a collection, but even then I don't know if it's going to be or not, right?
No, they can make way more money on it if they sold it separately. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't sell it separately, because you sell everything separately.
It's a money spinner.
If they sell it as a collection of like 1 to 6, and I don't know, they sell it as $20 or whatever, I'll be okay with that. Because, I mean, each game at the minute, hang on, I think they're 15 each on phone.
Yeah.
Hello there! This is Chris. I'm in my pajamas. From the editing bed, I guess, not the editing boot. But anyway, we talked a lot about this, and with some of the information we gave, it turns out it would actually make for its own better separate video talking about these awful practices at Square Enix and these mobile ports. So I'm gonna cut a lot out here. I'm gonna just keep what's relevant and look out for that video in future.
So here's the problem, right? They're not releasing it for consoles. It's only going to be available for mobile and Steam.
They did a Diablo.
That's the only thing that's keeping me from thinking they might release it as like one package. They're going to want to push the mobile sales.
Would this be technically the first time that Final Fantasy III in the original graphics has been released over here?
I think so, yeah.
So that's notable, I guess.
But yeah, that was bad. I don't know. If they had said get all 6 Final Fantasies for 30 quid in the original pixel art, I would have been like, cool. But they didn't say that, so it's pretty garbage. After that, we had the Black Panther DLC.
Yeah, War for Wakanda, which I think we called. They announced this already, so it's not really a big surprise, and it's free.
When is Spider-Man? What was the deal with Spider-Man?
So I took a look at the timeline, and I think Spider-Man isn't coming anytime soon because there's still content after Black Panther that they're set to release. So they haven't specified yet, but it's not for a while.
They have to keep an ace or two up their sleeves.
I mean, at this point, they might as well because it's kind of dying. It's slowly dying.
Oh, do you think that's why they keep having to put off doing Spider-Man? Because they don't want to like compete with it. Because maybe Marvel or something was like, actually, don't do Spider-Man. Let the game die, and then you won't have to make a competitor for Insomniac.
Maybe.
It's a good theory.
I suppose we'll move on to the next one. Jesus.
Yeah.
Babylon's Fall. This is the game by the Platinum Studios who did Bayonetta and stuff like that. They showed off a lot of that. What did you guys think?
They seem to be continuing this trend of like making every single game kind of look Souls-like. Because that's what it came off to me. Like it just looked like a Souls game, but like a much more flashier version of it.
Graphically, it doesn't look very good.
It doesn't look good.
And it's such a shame as well. This is something that a lot of people were hyped for. A lot of people were really up the Babylon's Fall hype train because, Platinum Games, Bayonetta is their next title. Like, it's got to be good.
I just wanted to point out they also did NieR Automata. So, I mean, it's probably got to control and play well.
I just don't understand why it doesn't look as good.
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
They made the trailer look way more enticing than the actual gameplay.
Yeah.
The gameplay looks good. It looks like it plays like NieR, but it just looks like a Souls game. It's like dark. Yeah. I don't know.
And everyone looks like they have at least like their own kind of unique play style and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think there was like four characters you can play as. You think it's like 4-player co-op?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, if it was like a 4-player co-op, that would be kind of cool.
I don't know what more to say other than the graphics looked disappointing, but the gameplay looked good. And the story didn't really grab me too much.
Yeah, I have nothing to say. I'm not really like excited for it. It just looks kind of...
It files under the meh kind of distinction rather than anything that's exceedingly notable.
Yeah.
Did they give us a release date at least?
I don't think they did.
But I think it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive.
Oh, no, it's not actually. It's on Steam. Actually, maybe this co-op thing might be right, Riven, because there's a closed beta coming up. It's on Steam, and then it's going to be on PS5 and PS4. So maybe you're right. Maybe it is actually a co-op game. That would be cool. Be the co-opinist game. Then they showed the footage of the Life is Strange Remastered Collection. And I think they kind of showed off. Yeah, they announced that it'll be released as its own thing now. Whereas originally, when we were showing it, it was as a bundle with True Colors. Now we know it's also going to be its own thing.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the remaster?
What's so different about it though? Like what did they change? Because like it pretty much looks the same to me.
So they have redone all of the animation and have used mocap now instead. They've kind of tweaked the hair a bit, or like they've redrawn the character models to like make the hair look nicer and stuff. And now it's actually got a lighting engine. So it actually has lighting in it. The original didn't really. And this is all done by Deck 9 Studios, who did Before the Storm. So the bundle has the first game and Before the Storm. I like the first Life is Strange. I did enjoy Before the Storm as well. I'm probably going to get this, to be honest, and probably going to enjoy it.
Yeah, if the price is right, you know, and obviously if you haven't played it yet, it's like a great bundle.
Then after that, they showed off True Colors, and you can also get this. There's like a special edition of True Colors, which has this collection, because True Colors contains some of the characters from the original Life is Strange, I think.
I think it's Before the Storm. Before the Storm.
Yeah. What did you think of True Colors?
I mean, we haven't seen anything new. They pretty much showed us things that have already been revealed. I mean, it looks okay. I don't exactly know how her emotion system works, really, but I don't know. It's just like I'm honestly not that excited for it, to be honest. Like, it's some stupid gimmick, like the whole time traveling thing. It's like it's not really gonna affect the gameplay too. I don't know. I'm not too excited for it.
We talked about this earlier when we streamed it. The time travel thing is so clever in the first one because it allows you to choose the two different choices. Like, that's the whole purpose of it, is like, imagine a Telltale game, except you can see what both choices are. You don't have to like play through the whole game a second time and make sure you check all the other different choices to see every cutscene.
And it has like a knock-on effect. Like you can rewind and do both choices and then rewind again, and you know the knowledge from both choices can open up a new one instead. That kind of thing.
Whereas this one, with the empath power, okay, you're just going to make your choice and the story's going to continue. There's like no changing your choice or anything like that. I don't really care for the new girl.
Yeah, I don't either. Because me and Talos played the other one. What was the other one?
Tell me why.
Yeah, Tell Me Why. And that one was just like, it was just stupid.
The big thing that I do think that people need to know is this is Deck 9 that did Before the Storm doing this one. Tell Me Why and Life is Strange 2 were both Don't Nod. So to me, when I heard Deck 9 was doing this, I was like, oh, well, they meant Before the Storm and that one was good. Life is Strange 2, not really. Tell Me Why, not really. So maybe at least Deck 9 is the way to go. And then Deck 9 is like, okay, right, it doesn't actually look that good, Deck 9.
I would have to see gameplay. I just need to see how deep her mechanics are. You know what I mean? Like,
It's insane to me that we have two different studios both making Life is Strange. And they both made a good one. And then they both went crap. After they made their one good game. We'll see how True Colors is. Hopefully it's not crap.
probably crap, but yeah.
Probably. What did we have after that?
I think it was just the Final Fantasy Origins. I think that was the last one.
Yes, it was. Is it Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins? So we talked about this in a Studley News briefly, and we also predicted this. It's done by Koei Tecmo. They did the newest Dissidia arcade game, and they did the Dead or Alive series, of course. And this very much looks to be... The gameplay looks very much kind of in the style of...
Dark Souls.
Dissidia mixed with Dark Souls, yeah. The plot was hard to pin down, but I think we might be right, because we said... In our news video, we made a theory of... If they're going to call this Final Fantasy Origins, is this essentially going to be kind of a remake of Final Fantasy 1, but not really, like an exact remake? And we were kind of right. There was three Warriors of Light going up against Garland, who then changes into Chaos. That's the same as how Final Fantasy 1 starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess we're getting the Final Fantasy 1 remake.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we predicted that.
Yeah, I mean, this game looks exciting. Let's look at the people working on it. So we have Nojima, who's doing the story and scenario, and I think Nojima was also working on Final Fantasy VII Remake, right?
Now, Nojima is possibly the most worrisome name right now, because The man went from being one of the best writers Square Enix had. You know, he did Final Fantasy 7, he did 10, he did like all your big ones back then. He did the first 2 Kingdom Hearts games with Nomura. The last few years, he did the Final Fantasy X novel where Tidus kicks a blitzball bomb, and he wrote, as you said, he wrote the remake. And the best parts of the remake, well, apart from the Jesse side quest, I think anything with the whispers and all the other twists that Nojima added were not great.
Oh.
I don't know. We haven't played Intergrade to know how Yuffie's side story is. Maybe that is actually good, but
Yeah, so we'll see. So it's the director is Daisuke Inoue. He was the lead planner for Lightning Returns. He was the battle planner for Crystal Chronicles. Battle planner for 13. Dirge of Cerberus. He was the battle planner.
So he likes to plan battles, huh?
He likes to plan battles pretty much. But his like only actual game is Lightning Returns.
hasn't done many good games, has he?
Yeah.
And then you have Nomura doing the designs.
He's doing concept and character design, yeah.
And none of the character designs look Nomura, which is really funny because you have people complaining, oh, these characters look so bland. And yet, if they had any more flair to them, people would be like, typical Nomura.
Yeah.
They're not bland as in like they don't have enough flair. It's just they look like very generic JRPG characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they look like how like the Final Fantasy 15 characters look. Like they're dressed in like normal modern looking clothes. Like the guy has he's got a button Henley and like leather pants and like boots.
Somebody pointed out that one of them looks exactly like Corleone's from 15. I seen that pointed out on Facebook.
Yeah, the main character, I think.
But that's the funny thing about the 15 characters as well, is Nomura designed them all, and then they got Robert Ferrari. Is that his name?
Yeah, he designed the remake outfits, right?
I think he designed Aerith's dresses, so he did, for the sexy section. For Don Cornetto. Don Cornetto.
Donkey Kong.
I've lost the ability to speak. Yeah.
So what do you think? They needed more belts? Is that what people are saying?
Well, what I think is, yeah, they look generic. But then at the other hand of it is, if they didn't look generic, then you'd have people complaining of, oh, Nomura's making everything look ridiculous.
No, I disagree because like the FF7 characters, they all look like people.
Yeah.
And they're very, very memorable.
Mm.
And you look at these guys and it's like they look like player characters in like 14. It's like someone you cooked up in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, the main character looks kind of bland, but his like 2 other partners, they're dressed kind of differently. Like they look more.
Yeah, you have Mr. Pink Hair, Mr. Candy Floss Hair.
Yeah, he looks more like a Final Fantasy character to me, and the other guy too, which I assume looks like a black guy.
Yeah, the main guy kind of looks like James Hetfield of Metallica.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah, ooh. Garland, though, they kept his classic design. I do like that. I don't know. This to me, I'm excited for this. What about you guys?
Me too. I think they ended it pretty well.
They left us wanting more.
To be honest, this is a big meh from me. We'll see though.
So normally at this point we would give our final thoughts and then give our scores. But I figure we should probably address that Wii predictions video a bit. We wondered if there'd be any 16. Riven, you were correct. There was no 16. I'm still surprised. It's coming out next year. It's on PlayStation. We were correct. There'd be no Final Fantasy 14. We wondered if there would be any Kingdom Hearts because next year is the 20th anniversary. And Nomura said he has a game. He's getting a game ready for the 20th anniversary, which is in March. Now would have been the time to show it. And then the other kind of... there was Deus Ex. We already touched on that. That Square Enix instead showed Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, Deus Ex is dead. It's never coming back.
Oh, don't say that.
And then I think the other big thing that we predicted, and they showed 3 seconds of it at the end, was Neo The World Ends With You. And I've talked about this, I think, on this... I don't know if I talked about it on stream, but I talked about this with Peter. I'm still annoyed about it.
Well, yeah, you talked about it in the predictions video. It's coming out,
Yeah.
what, in a month or two?
It's coming out July 27th, and the game has 2 trailers. And what's so annoying is Square Enix, their whole thing for why it took 14 years to make a sequel was, the original it sold well in the West, but it didn't sell as well as we'd have liked it to in Japan, because we didn't do enough promotion. Then they do a Switch port, and they barely promote that, and they're like, it didn't sell well enough, but I suppose we didn't really port it. It sold well enough for what we promoted for it. And now they're doing a sequel, and it's got 2 trailers. And there's like no promotion. And World Ends With You fans are happy. They're all going, yeah, but like on the Twitter for the World Ends With You, they're posting a lot of stuff. And it's just so infuriating. They're like, no, Square Enix is doing such a good job promoting it. Yeah, it's doing a good job promoting it to you because you know what this franchise is. You follow the Twitter.
Yeah.
The generic audience of anyone else, this was the time to show it off.
The
Square.
casuals, yeah, the casual.
Yeah, and they completely have dropped the ball with it.
It's not hard to promote it. Like if you tie it in with Kingdom Hearts, I'm pretty sure people will find it intriguing. Like, hey, this is like sort of like I don't want to say it, a spin-off.
Ugh, Rivena, I can already feel the hate comments for you saying that. There's a bit of, not bad blood, but they showed the characters off or the characters appeared in one of the Kingdom Hearts games. The box art has the same sky as the 3 box art. And so anytime anybody suggests, oh, maybe the 2 games are linked, you will be sure to have some very angry people writing essays.
Yeah, but I'm saying from like a promotional standpoint, you know, like they can connect it with Kingdom Hearts, and people will recognize
the makers
it.
of Kingdom Hearts or whatever, and then show a new Neo World Ends With You trailer. All they really had to do was just show a new trailer that at least people kind of know what it might be. But no, 3 seconds at the end. And I don't think there was anything else we covered in that video that they didn't show. Don't think we were unreasonable either to be like, maybe a Deus Ex, maybe the game that comes out next month. I don't think we set the bar too high.
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing. But I wanted to point out something that you mentioned. You were saying how maybe they might be saving up their bigger announcements for like a different presentation, maybe like a Sony focused one, because most of the games they announced here, for the most part, they weren't exclusives. So maybe they might be announcing exclusives at maybe like a Sony show in the future.
Yeah, like I feel like that's where 16's gonna appear, right?
16, maybe 14.
I suppose maybe they are saving a lot of their big stuff for Sony.
But you mentioned there wasn't going to be a Sony show, right?
Yeah, there's not going to be a Sony thing at E3, but I believe there's a state of play planned.
So keep an eye out for that.
And we'll definitely have a video on it. So, final thoughts on Square Enix. Peter.
I wasn't really excited about it, and it basically met my expectations.
Okay. Liam.
I'm honestly glad that they've showcased some of the things that they've been hinting at mostly, but I just hope that they do elaborate more coming up towards, I hope they elaborate more further down the line with that 3-second clip, because, like you say, to end something on a cliffhanger like that that's just rude. But I like it. We've had what we want to see. I'm on a positive because the bar isn't exactly that high from the past few days, so we'll still keep this as a positive way.
Yeah. Revan?
Guardians of the Galaxy came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it. I don't think anybody asked for it, but I'm sure Marvel threw a ton of money at Eidos Montreal and Square Enix. The re-release of the classic Final Fantasies, I don't see why they couldn't have released that for Switch or PS4. I wasn't too excited for the Platinum Games one.
Yeah.
I wasn't too excited for True Colors, but Final Fantasy Origins look good.
I think it was disappointing in that you had we forgot to mention actually as well, there was a whole section on phone games. Yeah. That slipped everyone's mind. But I think it was a promising start and a promising end. There was stuff in there, like we said, Neo Twiwi, The game comes out in literally a month. You should be promoting your game, Square. And then there was a lot of stuff in the middle that was just like Life is Strange. You turned me off of that as well, Square. I actually was a little bit interested. I was considering getting it, and now I might just get the remaster on its own. I don't know.
No, as far as I'm concerned, Life is Strange was just lightning in a bottle, and everything after. Before the Storm was nice as a little additional thing, but
Yeah.
it wasn't that good either. And then after that, it's like they should have just dropped it.
So, to me, honestly, it was good. It was good that it was so short, but you should have had more stuff there that wasn't just phone games. Like, the fact that phone games took precedence over a game next month is kind of ridiculous.
It was a bit weird, yeah.
So, scores out of 10, Peter.
I'll give this one a 5.
Okay.
It wasn't overly egregious, at least not to me. Nothing really grabbed me either.
Liam.
I'll honestly give this a solid 6, just because it's something that wasn't too dragged on, but it wasn't overly blemished with trailers of just actual trailers, if you see where I'm coming from.
Yeah. What about you, Riv?
I think 6 out of 10 seems fair. I'll give it a 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going with a 6 out of 10 as well. So I think that's an overall score. I don't know what the math is there. We'll just round it up to the 6. I know there's a 5 in there somewhere.
5.90.
5.75, wouldn't it be?
Oh, yeah, there we go. 5.75 out of 10. We got it. Right, that was our review of the Square Enix E3 press conference. I don't think we're going to be doing Capcom or whatever the hell else there is.
Yeah,
We're
they're
gonna do
doing. There's
Nintendo.
the PC thing going on right now, the PC game show. We're probably not gonna do that.
Yeah, we're not going to do a review of the PC Game Show, Capcom or Take-Two or Warner Brothers. We will do a review on Nintendo, so be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, look out for that. Like and comment your thoughts on Square Enix, and check out the other E3 videos. You know, we're doing a lot to get you guys a lot of content, so please, we'd really appreciate it. But I have been Chris Sora.
And that is all.
I was waiting for Liam.
I was waiting for Riven.
Okay.
I've been Liam.
I was waiting for Chris to start over.
Oh.
Leave it exactly like this. Don't cut it.
Yeah. I've been Chris Sora.
I've been Liam.
This is Riven.
And I've been Peter.
See you in the next one.